To you, what is the purpose and importance of digital storytelling within education?
Well, for me, digital storytelling creates connections and it creates empathy between people. You gain an understanding because you get a different perspective to something that you might recognize, but is so inherently personal to that person that it still shows you a very different perspective of it.
I'd agree with that. And I think it also creates an almost relatable atmosphere. You're putting something out there that is very vulnerable, but in that you're allowing an audience to connect to you and maybe even relate to you. So it's almost a comforting experience and can be cathartic at the same time, because you're expressing something about yourself that might not have been put out there before, which is a vulnerable experience, but also letting other people in on that experience with you.
Yeah, I think also it allows the audience to sort of empathize with the concept that you're trying to say through your story. So it will allow them to kind of see what's happening through your eyes and understand, okay, yeah, if I was in that same position, this would be my emotions. I now know why they're responding the way they are.
Yeah.
So,
and I think for educational purposes as well, like for me, I switch off when I read a lot. So having a visual aid there, I think it does allow you to educate a little bit better because it lets you see their story as well as hearing it at the same time.
Yeah, and added to that, the personal aspect helps in that as well. So you get numbers of how many times something has happened in history, but actually getting a family story and how it was to live through something like that has a way bigger impact and emotional tone to that than
much
reading.
More of a lasting effect.
Yeah.
and it also gives you like a more interactive sort of thing. So instead of just having to either just read or just listen to facts and numbers and statistics, like you said, it'll allow me to kind of, for me personally, it would allow me to kind of see and like associate both of them together and see the intersection. So,
yeah. I do think it almost goes beyond words because you're using images and videos. It almost doesn't need the audio there. You can see what the story is just through the pictures that are used. It goes a lot further than the words. So it almost creates that universal language. So it doesn't really matter what community and country you come from. You should be able to look at the digital story and know what story is being expressed.
I think we should encourage breaking the rules,
Yeah.
breaking the formulas that we've set up, because there are so many people out there and everybody tells their story in a slightly different way. So you can tell a story without words and use only images, or you can use a story using only words. And I think we are still looking for ways to implement digital storytelling in a way to include as many people as possible.
yeah, it takes away that sort of the edge of like having to stand in front of like a big crowd and then just read out a speech or something. It gives you a chance to kind of express through your own way and like giving them a better understanding rather than just your words, and which might not work out that well, especially if you have anxiety or something.
Yeah, it's a very unique experience, but an experience that should be exposed more, in my opinion, to society as a way of education.